Well, the good news is it only took 2 hours and 15 minutes for that whole thing to get done with. So you have the rest of your Saturday night to enjoy. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post game recap. The Mariners get blown out tonight 8-1 against the Oakland Athletics. They fall to 21-19 on the year. And thank you to Colorado for taking the first two games against Texas. The Mariners are a half game back of the Rangers in the American League West. Well, I talked about in the series preview that the A's team is playing, better ball this year than last year, and you can't rely on going 11 or 12-1 against them again this year. They're certainly going to beat you more than that, and they get the job done today in this one, and just a super frustrating loss for the Seattle Mariners. Before I dive any further, do me a favor, smash that like button, helps out the channel tremendously. If you're new here, go and hit subscribe. Subscribing and liking are just two free, easy ways to really help support my channel. So thank you to all of you that have done that. It means a lot to me. Yeah, just a super, super frustrating game from top to bottom. Bryce Miller was solid. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. I'll dive into the box score a little bit more here in a minute. And even the hit he gave up to give up the lead, Brent Rooker just a little inside-out swing, 66 miles per hour exit velo, dunks it into right field. Not much you can do about that. Listen, Bryce was fine. Bullpen was not good. Bryce did his job. The offense has to put up more than 1 run against Joey Estes. You do. You've got to score more against a guy like that. No excuses for it. Early on, yeah, the Mariners hit some balls hard that probably should have been hits that were caught. I've said it before. You can be good and lucky, and you can play bad and be unlucky. The Mariners were unlucky a little bit early on. They hit some line drives that were caught, some fly balls that were hit fairly deep with high expected batting averages, but that does not mean they were good by any means. And gets to a point where you've got to find a way, regardless of what the results are, regardless of how hard you're hitting it. Yeah, Dylan Moore was close to a home run on a flyout. Julio Rodriguez hit a flyout with an expected batting average of 770 that Lawrence Butler tracked down. Luke Raley hit a screaming line drive that was caught by Soderstrom at first base. Mitch Garver probably should have had a double down the line that was robbed by, is it Schumann playing third base? Who played third base? Toro? I don't think it was Toro. It was Harris at third base, excuse me. Yeah, that happened. But even with that, okay, fine. The Mariners get those hits. Do they score that inning Luke Raley had the line drive? I don't know. The only one may have been Garver because Polanco hit a double in the gap later. Fine, you got 2 runs. Not going to be good enough to get the win tonight. And then the bullpen, same issues. Gabe Speier cannot give up that double to Schumann down the line to put that game out of reach. It can't happen. You've got to get a hitter like that out in that instance. Bizzardo, and I know you're going to say, like, Jay, the game was over when Bizzardo came in. It's not a matter of the game being over. But at 5-1, the A's had Mason Miller warming up in the bullpen. If Mason Miller pitches, now you weren't getting 4 runs off Mason Miller. You're probably not even getting 1 run off Mason Miller. But what you might have done is forced him to throw 20, 25 pitches, and maybe he's down tomorrow. Then the A's are down their best reliever for tomorrow's game. So even in things like that, Austin Adams barely broke a sweat. Ursig barely broke a sweat. They are all going to be available tomorrow. So if you were not leading the game tomorrow after 6 innings, you are in for possibly another loss. Very possible. So the Mariners have got to be dialed in early, again, against a pitcher in Alex Wood that you should be finding a way to get some runs against. That stuff matters. If Bizzardo doesn't give up those 3 runs, yes, I know there was, I think there was an infield hit in there. I don't know. I probably wasn't paying as much attention as I should have by the 9th inning. But those little things can add up. Now, they still lost 3 out of 4 to the Twins. One thing they did is they made Duran throw some pitches, so he was unavailable the next day. They did that Monday. Same with Griffin Jackson. It allowed them to get a W on Tuesday. So those things do matter, even in games that it looks like it's over. Do I think at 2-1 they were going to score off Ursig or Miller? Probably not. But, and certainly not at 5-1, they weren't going to win, but you can still do things to help yourself tomorrow. Baseball's got that kind of, the way the schedule is and how many games you play, you can do that. Football, no, you got a week to rest up. Everyone's going to be good to go. But in baseball, those things do matter. You do have to you can get some things rolled out for the next day. Now Spire's double that he gave up at 2-1 to Schumann that made it 5-1. Yes, you still had a chance there because even though I don't think the Mariners would have scored off Ursig and Miller, 2-1, someone could run into one. You could get a bloop little hit and then someone drives one in the gap. You can tie it. So, things can happen when you're down 1 run. But, even down by multiple runs, they had a chance to do that and they couldn't. It's the little things. It's the little things that is frustrating with this team. There's some big things frustrating too. But the little things adding up for sure. And, Yeah, you've got to put more runs up against a pitcher like that. And there's just too much of this from this offense. Yesterday they're dialed in, 8 runs. They do what they have. They put 7 runs against Paul Blackburn, and they even play a little bit of add-on the back end to get that 8th run. And then tonight, back to the basics. Nothing. Yes, some hard hits. And listen, if this team was just dialed in offensively, I'd be more forgiving of those things. I would say, like, hey, they hit some balls hard. It happens. But they're not dialed in. Like the starting pitching, Bryce Miller, I'm giving a little bit of a pass to on the Brent Rooker inside out RBI single. That thing was not hit hard. There's some bad luck there. Now, he walked Lawrence Butler. Don't want that to happen. Kind of frustrating that Abraham Toro has been like a legitimately good hitter this year. He hit his single pretty hard that tied the game. So, and even, before Brett Harris hits a grounder that Rojas probably would have had a chance to turn 2 on, it just got underneath his glove. Bryce Miller gets a pass. Logan Gilbert, I gave a pass to on Wednesday. These guys have been lights out for this team. They deserve to be bailed out. Not that Bryce didn't even need to be bailed out. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs. That doesn't need to be bailed out. Bailed out would be 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Bailed out is what they did for Emerson Hancock on Tuesday. Bryce didn't need to be bailed out. He needed his team to put up 2 runs for him, possibly. But the offense doesn't get the pass. They don't. Do I think they'll play better? I'm tired. I'm sounding like a dang broken record again. Yes, I do. But right now, that they are not playing well. They are not playing good baseball. They've shown some signs of coming out of it, but they just seem to fall right back into it. Now, listen, you got a chance to win the series tomorrow. And I always say that at the end of the day, as I'll sit up a little more, I'm slouching really bad here. I came into the series, my previous said, get a series win. I don't look for sweeps. Sweeps are something that's a little bit bonus. That's why sweeps feel so good, because it's a little bit extra that you don't expect. So win tomorrow, win a series. I'm totally down with that. Keep winning 2 out of 3. If you win every series the rest of the way, you're going to have a very, very nice record and a very nice winning percentage to go along with it. But you still got to win the game tomorrow. And like I said, the A's are going to have all their weapons in their bullpen ready to go. And I just don't have a ton of faith in this offense. Should you hit Alex Wood? Yeah, you should be able to get 3 or 4 runs off him. And Castillo should be able to hold this lineup in check, and it's a game you should win. But do I think they're going to go gangbusters on Alex Wood? I can't say with a lot of confidence I think it's going to happen. I can't. Right now, no. I don't see it happening. I see the same frustrating things happening. I'm not saying they can't. This isn't Mariners put up 7 runs tomorrow, me going, oh, CJ, they did that. No, yeah, sure, it's definitely possible. We know this offense is capable of doing it, but it's hard to predict it right now. And you're also starting to see like the bullpen showing some cracks a little bit without I know I mention every game, but listen, we now know for sure you're not seeing Matt Brash this year. And Santos, you're hoping by July, that would be great, but not making a ton of progress there. So the bullpen's showing some signs of some kinks in the armor a little bit. It's been lights out, but Spire's not been super sharp his last few innings. Not worried about Spire. I think he'll be fine. Bizzardo did not look great tonight. Stanek was okay, not amazing, but fine. And, the offense is going to have to pull out of it. Your starting pitching is not going to, run a 1.2 ERA all season. I know that's not their ERA, but whatever it was over that 23 game stretch, whatever. That's not going to continue. The offense is going to have to get better. That's simple. And I don't think it's not just one person. I can't just be like, well, they need to sit this guy. Well, or, oh, they need to move guys down the order. Maybe, sure, whatever you can do to get something sparked. But nobody outside of Josh Rojas and Cal Raleigh are hitting. Move guys down for who? I see them moving Julio down. That's fine. Like, that's where you're coming from. I totally get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. But who are you moving up? Luke Raley, I guess, has swung the bat okay recently. Dylan Moore, you get JP Crawford back. That might help. JP was looking a little, hotter before getting hurt. Dom Canzone starts his rehab assignment today. That's good news. JP hopefully back soon. That's all good news. I'm certain the team's 21-19 through 40 games. That's fine. There's nothing where their record is that's necessarily wrong. There's still, I always say, if you can keep yourself 500, a little bit above 500 going into summer months, you're 1-5-6 win game streak away from taking off. And I do believe this team has that in them. So again, this isn't really so much an overall picture frustration necessarily. It's just kind of, again, what I talked about Wednesday. It's kind of how they're getting there a little bit, and it's frustrating. It is. And I think the frustrating thing is we see the potential in this team, right? You guys see, the starting pitching has been fantastic. The bullpen tonight, notwithstanding, has been great. You see the core of this team: Cal Raleigh, Julio struggling, but J.P. Crawford when he's healthy. Rojas has been a revelation, and it just you see the pieces there to make. You've got the ingredients. You see it right there to make the cake taste really good, but it's just someone forgets the sprinkles, and the frosting's not there, and then the batter's expired or whatever. I'm not a baker, so what do I know? But it's just there's just little things that keep happening. Then someone brings the sprinkles, but then I always go to food analogies, and I'm not even hungry. So I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's like, oh, we got the sprinkles. Oh, darn, this person forgot the chocolate chips. That's kind of what it's been for this team, frustration wise. Let's get in the box score. I'm going to get out of here. For those of you that don't know, this is going to be really random off top. For anybody that's my age, and I'm probably the last person to discover this, but just discovered on HBO Max, Batman, the animated series is on HBO Max. If you're around my age and you grew up with that show, I think I was the last person to realize that was on HBO Max. Started binging that last night, so I'm ready to get back and watch some BTAS. So anybody that's around my age in their mid to late 30s that grew up with that show, and it still holds up. I will tell you, it still really does hold up. Can I just talk about BTAS the rest of the way? Let me know in the comments down below if you'd rather me continue and go to the box score or broken down an episode of like Heart of Ice with Mr. Freeze, which is a fantastic Emmy award-winning episode for that show. All right, let's keep going with the Mariners. Bryce Miller was fine. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 9 Ks. I actually didn't think he was incredibly sharp. I thought some of his location was off. In the third inning when the A's scored their 2 runs, I didn't think his splitter looked very sharp, and he went back to very fastball heavy. But I can't get mad at that start. 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Bryce Miller was really good. And especially on a night when I didn't think he had his best stuff, Bryce was fine. If I'm, for the love of everything, if I'm going to criticize Bryce Miller tonight of all people, that's I should be ripped apart. Stanek goes an inning, does a good job in the 7th. They send him out for the 8th. That run ends up scoring. Gabe Spire, a little all over the place. 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 2 Ks. One of the walks, they did. They intentionally walked Langoliers, which I thought was a little bit odd. Listen, I get Langoliers is a better hitter than Schumann, and I understand that. And at that point, like, Langoliers run, if 4-1 or 5-1 doesn't really matter. You're not scoring off Urseg or Miller, 3 runs or 4 or 3 runs. So who cares? You guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, so I don't have a problem walking him there to face a lesser hitter. You've got to get Schumann out. Gabe Spire's got to get him out there. And Bizzardo, a rough 9th inning. I like Edward Bizzardo. I talked about being excited that he was back up, but he is not rewarding me so far, or the team, for being willing to DFA Tyson Miller to keep him and Cody Bolton on the roster. Offense, well, this will be really quick because 3 hits, no walks for the Mariners. Rojas had a hit. The big dumper goes deep. He gets a pass. Him and Rojas get a pass, right? Like, they've been great. Like, was it their best games ever? No, but every night you look at the box score, they've done something to help the ball club. And then the other hit was Jorge Polanco had a double. Good to see he was on a fastball. Turned it around, I think, at 97, 98. So good to see he's been struggling with fastballs. Just would have been nice if there were some people on base or if they would have scored him after that. Julio 0 for 4. Listen, a couple hard hit balls. The one that went off Estes, 110, and then there was the other one in the gap, 103 with the 770 expected batting average. Josh Rojas does that. I say, listen, it happens. We're at a point with Julio where it's just, we need results. Yeah, good sign. It's a good sign that hitting the ball hard and driving it a little bit. Absolutely is. I am not someone that's necessarily like in favor of benching Julio. I've heard that a little bit. Now, I want to be clear. If you want to give him a couple days off or something, totally understand where you're coming from with that. But in terms of like actually benching him, what are you going to do? Play Sam Haggerty every day in the outfield? I get some respect. Well, Haggerty might be better. It might be better than what Julio's done so far. But again, going forward, if you came out to me and said, Jay, who has a higher OPS the rest of the year, Julio or Sam Haggerty? I'm not even hesitating. I'm taking Julio. He's just got to be better. That's the thing. Like, he's got to come out of it. It's not necessarily about sending him down or sitting him down. Again, you want to sit him for a day or two to work on some things. That's fine. I can always understand where teams are coming from with that. But for the rest of the year, he's got to be better. If this team is going to go to where we want it to go, You cannot have Julio with a 590 OPS. Yep, hit a couple balls hard today. Great. And elevating a little bit. Good to see. But I want results. Josh Rojas does that. You get a pass because Rojas has been fantastic. Cal gets a little bit of a pass as well. They've been fantastic. Not giving Julio a pass anymore. He's got to start delivering. He's got to start coming through. It doesn't have to be like, I'm not expecting 1,000 OPS. 715? Julio with 17 OPS, 715 OPS probably has this team 2 games better right now. Doesn't have to be the biggest superstar ever right now. We want him to be. I think he can. But this isn't going to cut it. It's just not. Haniger 0 for 3. Garver 0 for 3. Garver looked absolutely lost against Austin Adams. Man, I miss Austin. I really like Austin Adams. He was one of the treats of 2019 in that rebuilding year, and that injury is such a shame. I look like I normally get frustrated. Other pitchers show a lot of emotion against the Mariners, but Austin, I don't know, something about Austin Adams I like. And if the Mariners can stay in contention, which I think they will, whether it's winning a division contention or middling contention, we'll see. I hope it's the latter, but they're going to probably need another reliever. I would absolutely call the A's on Austin Adams. You're not getting Mason Miller. So I would absolutely be picking up the phone and seeing what Austin Adams would cost. Ty France 0 for 3. Oh my gosh, that Ty France ground out in the 8th inning. It wouldn't have mattered. It was 5-1. Grounds out to third to Harris. Harris dives to make the stop. Gets up, not like quickly gets up and kind of half from his knees throws it, but literally stands up, pops the glove once, throws it, short hops the throw, and Ty France is out by like legitimately 5 feet. Like not even a bang play. I know Ty is slow, but it still blows me away each time I see it. Like it's just like, and it wouldn't have mattered. They weren't going to score 4 runs off Urseg or whoever that was in the 8th, but yeah, Luke Raley 0 for 3, Dylan Moore 0 for 3. One thing I have to say, Kyle McCann, is it Kyle or Zach? I always want to say Zach for some reason. I think it's Kyle. Kyle McCann, the A's catcher. How is he not related to Brian McCann? They look exactly alike. They're both left-handed hitting catchers. Brian McCann may have been a switch hitter. I don't remember. And they both have the same last name, McCann. Then they both catch. How are they not related? I was blown away. I was convinced. I was doing my member stream. Thank you, by the way, to all the channel members that joined me. I thought for sure he was related, like his brother, maybe even son. I'm surprised by how many guys that I grew up with now, their kids are playing in baseball. So that just threw me off that he's not related to Brian McCann. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not, the team's still in decent shape. We're 40 games into it. There's 122 of these left. There's going to be a lot of ups and there's going to be a lot of downs. But I also can't come on every night and just go, yeah, it's fine. Eventually there's going to be some frustration for me too. And this one was frustrating because again, it just felt like a winnable game, at least for the first 5-6 innings. And this team just not finding that offensive consistency. Again, like I said, I'm not down. I predicted the team to win the division. I still will stand by it. They're a half game out. They win tomorrow. Texas loses. Mariners are in first place. They win 2 out of 3. We're feeling pretty good for the most part. Still some frustrations there, obviously, but for the most part, we think we all feel pretty good about where the team's at. Win tomorrow. I'm just talking if they win tomorrow and move into first place. But, there are still a lot of just things rearing their heads that are frustrating. I think they'll come out of it, but I've got to talk about what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing tonight was a really frustrating game. So this game made me upset. I did not like this one. This one made me a little angry. But long term, I'm still feeling pretty good about the team. Listen, I said at the beginning of the year, as long as you don't bury yourself in April, May, or even kind of like what the Astros have done. They're 11 games under. Mariners are 11 games under. We've got to have some serious conversations about what's going to happen with this team and what direction they go into. They're 2 games above 500. Do I think they could be better? Absolutely. But I also think that we haven't even gotten into the dog days of summer yet. We're not even at that point yet. There's 122 of these left. Mariners could start a 4-game winning streak tomorrow, and we're all feeling really good about the team. So, certainly not a doom and gloom for this team yet, but some guys have just got to get going. They've got to get going, and it's frustrating saying it every night. It gets frustrating saying it every night. I think they will. I think Julio will get hot, but what are we going to be at game 157? I'm going to be coming on here going, Julio's going to get hot. There's 5 games left. His 1 home He's going to hit more, I promise. Eventually, eventually that shtick has got to slow down a little bit. We're only at game 40, but you guys know where I'm coming from. Hey, have a good night. Remember, BTAS is on HBO Max if you have it, so check it out and enjoy that. Enjoy your Saturday night, guys. Hopefully tomorrow we can talk about a Mariners W. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow for the game. I don't know. Feels like a game would be kind of fun to do a live stream. No, I can't. Mother's Day tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Any moms in here or anything, or to all your moms, happy Mother's Day out there. I'll wish it again tomorrow. But moms are the goats. Shout out to my mom and my wife and grandparents. I have so many amazing mothers that I know in my world, but shout out to two of the goats for sure. My wife and my mom, who are two of the best moms that exist. So happy Mother's Day to all of the great moms out there. So love y'all. Throw it away. Just move on. Go watch BTAS and have a great night. As always, go Mariners. Remember to hit like, comment your thoughts if you dare, if you want to talk about it. And go Mariners. Peace.